for CNN for a long time. And, you know, they were actually covering for Joe Biden and his mental decline for a long time. What are your thoughts on that?
It's very nice to meet you. That's my thoughts.
No thoughts on Joe Biden being pushed out for Kamala?
No, I don't. No
Nothing?
thoughts. But thank
Nothing?
you. But her name is Kamala, by the way.
Okay. I mean, don't you think it's an issue that the American people didn't democratically elect Kamala Harris?
You'd have to ask some. Why don't you ask a voter?
A voter?
Yeah.
Aren't you a voter, Dawn?
I'm a member of the press, and I don't want to give my opinion. So.
You don't want to give your opinion? You did a lot on CNN.
Thank you. But it's nice to meet you. You have a great day. What's your name?
Savannah.
Savannah. It's a real pleasure to meet you. Are you having a great time here?
I'm having a great time, Dawn, but
Yeah,
I want to know.
Democracy.
I want to know from the Democrat Party, you know, how they feel about Joe Biden's mental decline and that the media covered it up for so long. I think that we should tell the truth to the American people, so I'm just wondering, you know? No? Nothing? What do you guys think?
Yeah, mental decline, Trump. Trump has the mental decline.
Not Joe Biden,
yeah,
who
no,
was
not
pushed
Joe
out by
Biden.
his own party and is replaced by Kamala Harris? Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Donald Trump claims that you were pushed out, put from the top of the ticket, and this amounts to a coup from your party. What do you make of those claims? His what?
What's your message to people who are waiting for you to pass the torch here or taking in this historic moment? How are you feeling? How are the hostage talks going?
David Chalian, President Biden dropped out of the race a month and a day ago. You wouldn't know that if you read the Democratic platform because it repeatedly refers to President Biden's second term. There are roughly 19 or 20 mentions of President Biden's second term. They've had a month and a day to update it. Why haven't they?
Yeah, there won't be one of those, Biden's second term. We know that. And, listen, the platform was largely the draft of it put in place and voted on earlier this summer. And I think in talking to some folks, the idea of reopening the platform to try to fit in not yet fully developed Kamala Harris policies while they were quickly changing, they thought they would be opening a can of worms, right? And that there would be all of a sudden some fights about what goes in the platform, and they wanted to avoid that at all costs. So they're willing to take the hit on the fact that the platform is sort of a relic of the Biden era because it's a non-binding thing. They'll vote officially today as part of the party business to put it into effect. But as you know, it has no binding capacity to it.
Right. And we should note that this also allows Vice President Harris to stay vague, stay, unspecific. That's from the Biden platform. That's not ours.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the president in name only, Joe Biden, who spoke at the DNC tonight. And we got to talk about his speech because going into this speech, there was a lot of debate around Joe Biden dropping out of the race. Okay, the mainstream liberal media has not gotten any answers on what happened with Joe Biden. Did he really step down based off decisions that he made solely on his own and with his advisors and with his team about being able to beat Trump, or whether or not he was mentally capable of continuing to run, or did he get pushed out by the Democrat Party elite in what was a coup against Joe Biden to take away the Democrat nomination from him? And a lot of people who are paying attention, most people think that it was a coup. I think that most people believe that it was a coup, but it's something that hasn't really been talked about too much. So it's a little awkward for Joe Biden to be speaking while there's currently speculation that he's doing this, although he really doesn't want to, and that he and his allies are angry. They're still angry about what happened to Joe Biden.
You said in a lengthy interview with Politico recently that the president didn't get out of the race because of the debate. He got out of the race because of other Democrats. I just have to tell you, Nancy Pelosi was just speaking to reporters after addressing the California delegation here, and she said, if they're upset, I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry for them, but the country is very happy. I don't know who they are, but that's their problem, not mine.
Oh, listen, nobody wants to have a fight with Nancy Pelosi at this time because we're a united party and we're going to be moving forward.
Aside, and I know that it was very difficult for him. That's been made very clear by some of his top aides like Anita Dunn and Ron Klain. And there does seem to be, even though Anita Dunn said earlier today, quote, nobody wants to have a fight with Nancy Pelosi at this time, unquote, it does seem like there's some residual bad blood or resentment, and I'm wondering if you've spoken to him and what your response is to that.
Sometimes you just have to take a punch for the children.
And that's what you're doing right now? You're just going to take the punch for the children?
Who's punching right now?
I don't know.
Anita Dunn said...
I didn't even hear this. I'm just hearing...
It was an interview with me.
Maybe he's throwing the punch. I don't know.
No,
I'm not. I would never. But
she
Anita,
said she doesn't want to fight.
Nobody wants to have a fight with Nancy Pelosi at this time.
Well, you know what?
Have you talked to him?
Is my only question. What I have to do.
Right.
He made the decision for the country. My concern was not about the president, it was about his campaign. As he has seen the exuberance, the excitement that has come forth in our country. I just did an event for one of our members in Illinois, Eric Sorensen, today. Immediately, he got 1,100 volunteers into his campaign as soon as that announcement was made.
Nobody is questioning the fact that the Democratic Party seems much better positioned right now than it did 4 weeks and 2 days ago. There's no question about that. Former Speaker Pelosi.
So why are we even talking about it?
They put it on my script and they made me read it. They're holding
Ron Burgundy.
They're holding my cat hostage. Speaker Pelosi, thank you so much. We're about to show you a video from the Democratic Party. They are talking a lot about a thing called Project 2025. Let's take a look.
Yeah, so I don't know about you guys. Every time I hear Nancy Pelosi talk, it is very clear to me that she definitely was involved in the coup, right? She definitely forced Joe Biden out as reported, evidenced by the fact that it seems like she wants to just scream that, yes, I got Joe Biden out. I removed him as the nominee. Yes, I forced him to quit. Yes, I made him fold. I think that's what she really wants to say, but she know that she can't say it, okay? And this is why she wanted CNN to be quiet. She was like, why are we even talking about this? Well, we're talking about it, Nancy, because you guys are supposed to be the party of democracy, right? But you don't seem to have democracy within your own party. So how can you lecture other people on something that you clearly don't believe in, okay? That is why it's important to talk about. You force the sitting president of the United States to not run for re-election. And you also didn't have a real primary, and you nominated somebody without them receiving a single vote. That's very anti-democratic. And now the media is trying to cover up for that individual on behalf of Democrats like yourself so that the American people have no clue what they're signing up for when they vote for Kamala Harris, who is the Coup candidate. And nobody with two brain cells to rub together is falling for this, including Chris Wallace, who, you know, is somebody that, I don't know, maybe would fall for something like this, okay, but even he's not falling for it. Also, you have Republican Scott Jennings just coming out and saying the quiet part out loud on CNN. CNN has been getting a lot of truth serum, a lot of truth bombs dropped on them when it comes to this conversation about whether or not Democrats staged the coup against Joe Biden.
You know, the word that everybody is using to describe tonight is bittersweet. It's just bitter. The fact of the matter, I'm not saying Joe Biden is bitter, but, you know, it's like you've been thrown out a window, and as you're falling, you go, gee, it's nice out here. No, he got thrown out of a window, and basically he was forced. You know, there's going to be a lot of talk tonight about how generous it was of him and selfless of him. He was basically forced out by Nancy Pelosi and Barack Obama and Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. And I suspect even the fact that there has been this surge of enthusiasm since he left and Kamala Harris took his place, that's got to be pretty tough, too. You got thrown out of a window and everybody's applauding the person who's now in the room.
Biden is known in his career as being one of the best eulogy givers at funerals. And now they're making him come and give his own career
He has files of every eulogy he's ever
and now they're making him give his own eulogy at this convention. I mean,
you have to give one. It's best that you get to give your own.
Yeah, I guess. I am anxious to see how they handle it. It's a sticky wicket. I mean, he was bullied out of this race after 52 years of service to the Democratic Party, and it wasn't all about his age. He was unpopular. He was going to lose. It was Afghanistan. It was inflation. It was immigration. And now... and he had to be dragged out by the fingernails. I'm sorry. This is not. So he's not here in a happy moment, okay? I know that this yarn that's being spun in this hall that he was popular and selfless and handing on. No. It is the opposite, and everybody knows it, and yet the Democrats are engaging in this theater of looking into cameras and saying it. So it's not true. I'm interested to see how they handle it tonight, but also moving forward, because what the Republicans will do is say, look, this was Joe Biden's loyal lieutenant, the last person in the room on Afghanistan, helped him on immigration, which you hate. Now all of a sudden proposing to do something about inflation when she hasn't for 3.5 years. She will be stuck to him for the election, and will the voters buy that she had nothing to do with any of it?
Yeah, and that brings me to Joe Biden's speech. That wasn't quite a eulogy, but Joe Biden did, in fact, fold to the Democrat powers that be, and he did his job as a puppet, which was to lie to the American people, okay, and to spew the talking points from the Democrat Party that somehow, some way, voting for the Coup candidate, Kamala Harris, is somehow a vote to save democracy. And also, on top of that, apparently he believes there's no place for political violence in this country, as the pro-Gaza protesters literally riot outside of the DNC. Yeah, there was a whole lot of irony and just flat-out falsehoods in this speech. But Joe Biden did tell some truths, like, for example, that him and Kamala worked to strengthen illegal immigration.
Are you ready to vote for freedom? Are you ready to vote for democracy and for America? Let me ask you, are you ready to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, President and Vice President of the United States? On the steps of the Capitol on a cold January day, I raised my right hand and I swore an oath to you and to God to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, and to faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States. In front of me was a city surrounded by the National Guard. Behind me, a Capitol that 2 weeks before had been overrun by a violent mob. But I knew then, from the bottom of my heart, that I knew now, there is no place in America for political violence. None. Now it's summer. The winter has passed. And with a grateful heart, I stand before you now on this August night to report that democracy has prevailed. Democracy has delivered. And now democracy must be preserved. I ran for president in 2020 because of what I saw in Charlottesville in August of 2017. Extremists coming out of the woods, carrying torches, their veins bulging from their necks, carrying Nazi swastikas. When Donald Trump left office. And unlike Trump, we will not demonize immigrants, saying they're the poison of blood of America, poison the blood of our country. Kamala and I are committed to strengthening legal immigration, including protecting dreamers and more. Women are not without electoral or political power. No kidding.
I did think the video they played was interesting. They said, we don't want to be divided, angry, and depressed. But, we are divided under Biden. The American people, 70% think we're off on the wrong track. We are angry, and a lot of people do feel economically depressed. So that was their effort to try to divorce her from the feelings in the country. And then we had all these speakers. Some of them were, anonymous ranting mediocrities that pushed Joe Biden way deep into the night. I kind of feel sorry for Biden. I mean, they took this away from him at the pinnacle of his career. I understand why he appeared angry at times. And I thought some of the speech met the moment. Some of it, though, was hyper-partisan, frankly false ranting about his opponent. And I understand what they had to do tonight, but it's clear to me that the Democrats wanted this to be as late as possible. And I hope if you love Joe Biden, I hope you watch closely because you may never see him again.
Yeah, so you see, now you heard that. Lies, falsehoods, and gaffes. That is probably the best description I can give of Joe Biden's DNC speech. Now, again, he tried to tie his administration's policy with Kamala Harris. I thought that was very interesting. Throughout the speech, he made sure to say that him and Kamala did X, Y, and Z, which is funny because Kamala is trying to distance herself from Joe Biden and his policies, okay? She's trying to say, well, I kind of have my own agenda, while at the same time not flat out stating that I am distancing myself from Joe Biden because his policies have not been good. His policies are not as popular as we claim, okay? But Joe Biden is proud of his policies, right? He wants the world to know that, hey, Kamala's a part of what I did, right? Kamala's a part of why this country is in a state of chaos and disaster right now, especially when it comes to the economy. Okay, so at this point, Joe Biden's job is done. Okay, he has outlived his usefulness for the Democrats at this point, and now you probably will not hear from Joe Biden again. Okay, it really is unfortunate for him because apparently he's pissed, right? He's so pissed that he's leaving immediately. Okay, after the speech, he left. Okay, or that he's leaving. Currently, as I'm making a video right now. And it's funny because the speech started like an hour late, right? It started an hour late. I think the Democrats pushed it back as late as possible so that nobody would hear it, right? Nobody would watch Joe Biden give this speech. I think that was done on purpose. I really do. I think Democrats want people to forget about Joe Biden and to just focus on Kamala Harris. I think that's what they want, and I think that is what the intention was, to have Joe Biden speak on the first night, make him speak really late, 11 p.m. Eastern time, when everybody is basically in bed, right? Sleep, okay? At least on the East Coast, that is, okay? And, you know, they're getting ready to go to work tomorrow. They don't have time to sit and listen to Joe Biden, okay? And I think it was done on purpose. But we should never let the Democrats forget that, yes, you overthrew Joe Biden and that Kamala Harris was not voted for to be the Democrat Party nominee, okay? So you can't lecture me on democracy when you don't believe in democracy, okay? And I'm hoping that the history books will properly record what actually happened here, which is that Joe Biden did not step down on his own free will because he had the greatest presidency ever, which is what the Democrats are trying to say. That's the story they're trying to tell, okay? One of the greatest presidents ever, okay? Belongs on Mount Rushmore, according to Democrats, is stepping down because his presidency was just so good. No. That's not the story. The story is that Joe Biden was overthrown via coup. He was mad. He was pissed. He was upset. Okay. And they forced the guy out and they installed Kamala without a single vote. And that was the end of the road for Joe Biden, right? That is how the story should go. And I'm hoping that it is told accurately, okay, because we've watched the media basically try to twist this story and to rewrite history in real time in front of our faces, and we can't allow that to happen. Joe Biden went out in a way that really is disgraceful, right? He is probably one of the worst presidents in history, and he should be ashamed of himself for voting to the Democrats the way that he did, okay? This is nothing to be proud of. This is nothing to celebrate. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.